gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of The Fishing Teacher, and thanks for checking out today's video. Much appreciated. Today we're going to be talking about fishing in the dog days of summer and the hottest part of summer. You know, right now we're starting to get into it. It's almost July here, and we're going to be getting into some super warm temperatures. The water temperatures are going to be hotter on the lakes than any time of the year. So I got some good tips and advice I think is going to help you guys catch some fish all summer long. And real quick, guys, just want to give you the weekly reminder about our Fish the Moment summer lake map breakdowns. If you're having a hard time catching fish in the summer, one of the best things you can do is get you a lake map breakdown from Fish the Moment. Gives you 40 good GPS waypoints to begin your search at with tips and advice on how to fish each spot, and you can duplicate it around the lake. And if we have if one of the lakes you fish is not on our website, you can book a virtual lesson with me and go over it one-on-one with that. But I'll put that lake map breakdown link in the description. So much appreciated here. Okay, guys, let's talk a little bit about summertime hot water fishing. Specifically what I want to talk about is is how to catch them when the water temperatures are like close to being the hottest that they are all year. Now, one of the things that I think bass anglers need to realize, or fishermen in general, just for different type of species about any type of fish, is that we try to equate the air temperature, how it feels to us, to maybe how it feels to the fish. Now, say for example, if you're fishing in the middle of the winter and it's one of those super cold days out there, you may think the fish are super sluggish. Or if it's really, really hot in the summer, you may sort of equate that to a fish. But it's not the same, because the way that a fish reacts to and senses warm temperatures in the summer is completely different to us. Now, the water temperature per se is not the factor that you need to be concerned about in the summertime. The bass can live in 100-degree water. I've caught lots of bass in 90-degree surface water. The thing that is more important is the oxygen levels in the water that you're fishing. Now, there's really no way to judge oxygen levels. Yeah, you can get like an oxygen meter, but I haven't found that to be very productive, because the oxygen level in a body of water changes rapidly day to day with, like, you know, rain or, you know, wind speed, that type of stuff. But one of the things you can do is you can really pay close attention to signs of life, either on the bank or in the water. I mean, if you see a lot of minnows swimming around or shad, that's a good indicator that the oxygen is probably pretty decent in there. Now, that's one of the things that's going to play a big role whether you fish deep or shallow. Now, if you're a shallow water angler, one of the big keys that you're going to have to find in shallow water during the hottest part of the summer is shade. Shade is going to be key to catching fish in the hottest part of summer. It's like, if you don't have shade, you're probably not going to catch many fish, regardless of the type of cover. So let's say, for example, if you're fishing shallow and you've got boat docks or overhanging trees or brush piles, always try to focus on the shade, because that's where they're going to be all the time. Even the perch will be in the shade most of the time. Fish use shade in the summertime more than any other time of the year, simply because water may be a little bit cooler. It offers them some type of a cover or ambush point. So always look for the shade. It's going to position those fish and make them a lot easier to be caught. If say for example, if you're fishing down a bank and it's a rocky bank, or, you know, got trees or whatever on it, and you got like little areas that maybe have 3 or 4 feet of shade on them, that is where those fish are going to be almost every time. One of the biggest things I look for here in Missouri is, like, I like to fish shallow crankbaits in the summertime here in Missouri in more off-colored water. And if I'm working down a stretch of shoreline and I see maybe in front of me there's an overhanging tree that's throwing some shade off against those rocks, 9 times out of 10, that's where I'm going to catch the fish, right in that shade. So remember, that's super important. Now, another thing to remember about fishing in the hottest part of the summer, if you're fishing in deeper water, is there is a thermocline. Now, we'll do videos on what the thermocline is, you know, here at a later point. But basically, a thermocline is the depth of which the water changes significantly. And below the thermocline is you lose a lot of your oxygen, and above that thermocline is more suitable for fish oxygen level wise. Now, you can actually adjust your depth finder to see a thermocline on some units, But for the most part, one of the best ways that you can determine how deep a thermocline is by your water clarity and paying attention to your electronics as far as the activity on it. Because let's say, for example, if you're fishing a body of water that has 3 to 4 foot of clarity, most of the time that thermocline is probably going to be anywhere between, say, 15 to 30 foot deep. And you'll notice that not only by seeing the thermocline line on your depth finder, but you'll also notice it by noticing a lot of the bait fish will be up above the thermocline in shallower water, and a lot of the fish may be right at that level of where the thermocline starts. So that's another factor to remember in the summertime. Now, once the summer, it gets a little bit later in the summer, that thermocline tends to dissipate, but this is something that is definitely, true right now. Another thing as far as fishing during the dog days of the summer, guys, is your fishing is always going to be better normally early and late in the day. I don't care if you're fishing deep or shallow. The fishing is usually always better from about daylight up until 9 o'clock in the morning. And after that, it gets tougher. So, it gets hotter, the sun gets up, the light intensity gets brighter. A lot of times in the summer, you have a lot of recreational traffic, which puts the fish down. So one of the best things you can do is go early or late in the morning. Now, if you're fishing a lake that has a lot of cover in it, say a lot of matted vegetation, a lot of thick grass, up in the day may be okay with that. But the time of day has a big factor with that. Also, a little bit of wind helps. I mean, when you're dealing with super hot water, it never hurts to have 10, 15 mile an hour wind. Will make it a little bit tougher. But the main thing is to remember is that the fish are still biting. You can still catch fish all summer long. You just sort of have to adjust your techniques. Timing becomes more important, and you just have to adjust your expectations, because even though you can still catch fish, guys, the reality of the situation is in fishing is that July, August, and September are normally the 3 toughest months to catch fish anywhere. I mean, the fish just get super hard to catch. If you told me what's the 3 hardest months to catch fish in, I would say July, August, and September, without a doubt. It's just, for whatever reason, they just get harder to catch there. But anyway, I hope those few tips help you guys out, and we'll talk later.